We're in the middle of a new anime season. The sweltering heat of summer is out in full force. I refuse to go outside, so I'm just gonna burrow deep into this anime hole and hide out for the next few months. It's weirdly moist in here. I don't recommend it. But while you're here with me, might as well talk about all this anime bullshit. Let's go. Welcome to the anime hole. I had a bit of trouble deciding what I was going to watch for the summer 2018 season. There were a handful of things that seemed even vaguely interesting. Banana Fish and Asobi Asobase were on the shortlist, but they eventually got cut. I'll likely catch them in between seasons. There were also a few others that I may or may not even get to, like Homes of Kyoto. I don't even know how it's being received so far. I'm just curious about how weird this anime pretty boy Sherlock Holmes could get. And of course, I'm still watching Persona 5 the animation since it's still airing. It continues to be just fine, I guess. It's gotten a bit better since I first talked about it, but I still think I like the Persona 4 adaptation more. Now with that out of the way, here are the actual 3 anime I'm watching this summer. First up, it is Chio's School Road. Chio's School Road is another one of those fucking weird, absurd comedy anime. Each episode follows Chio and her friends on their road to school. The problem is that they always run into some sort of situation on their journey. It usually starts off as something simple, like taking a shortcut or a topic of conversation between friends, but it always evolves into a strange series of events played up for laughs. For example, there's a moment where Chio runs into... The script says not Manana because I couldn't remember her name when I was writing the script, and I didn't update it, so I still don't know her name. It's this character, the one you're seeing on screen right now. She's the popular girl at school. Chio isn't sure if she's saying hi, so to avoid an awkward situation, she does what any normal person would do and dives headfirst into a pile of trash. That's a solution, I guess. Chio also does things like running across rooftops, all Assassin's Creed-like, accidentally beating up a biker, and strategically winning a game of kabaddi. If you don't know what kabaddi is, don't worry, neither did I until I saw this show. It seems pretty ridiculous and unbelievable at first, but it's a real thing. Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. It's probably not exactly like that. I'm sure that's exaggerated a bit, but you know, whatever. I'll buy it. In fact, in the canon of the show, Chio is weirdly athletic, but she only uses her athleticism to copy moves from video games and use them in completely unnecessary situations, which, if I'm being honest, that's how I'm trying to be. I'm also really into the look of the show. It's a lot of solid colors and not much perceived depth or shading, but it feels like a style choice, not some side effect of budget or production constraints. There are even parts of the background that have this half-tone look. Put all this together and it makes each shot feel like a comic panel, but in motion. It's neat. I'm enjoying this show a lot, actually. Each episode is made up of about 2 or 3 shorter plot lines, and it moves all really quickly. After watching and loving Hinamatsuri, I'm interested in seeing how other anime handle comedy. And while this is definitely absurd, it's a different kind of absurdity than Hinamatsuri. It's more out there. It's more anime, I guess, if that even means anything. It's currently the show that I look forward to the most every week, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna change very soon. But, you know, we'll get to that later in the episode. First, let's talk about the next show I'm watching called Cells at Work. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are cells at work. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are hataraku. Do you ever see Osmosis Jones or the animated spin-off Ozzy and Drix? So imagine that, but with a bit more science and the kind of weirdness you can only find in anime. This show is a fucking trip, man. The show follows our main characters, capital R Red Blood Cell and capital W White Blood Cell. I'm making that distinction because there are other red blood cells and white blood cells in the series. All the red blood cells are delivery people in this metaphor of the human body. Red blood cell herself is new at her job. She's just trying to get by, carrying nutrients and making her deliveries. She usually ends up getting lost and being stuck in the middle of a bad situation involving invaders. You know, bacteria, viruses, etc. This is where white blood cell comes in. The white blood cell's job is to defend the body, but the way Cells at Work communicates this to the viewer is by giving every single white blood cell a sharp-ass knife to cut these germs right the fuck up. And the strangest part is that the germs bleed. Actual blood. All over the place. Which usually ends up with our main white blood cell just completely covered in bloodstains. By the way, did I mention this show is animated by the folks who work on JoJo's? Yeah, so maybe some of these things make a little bit more sense now. Cells at Work is totally over the top. It has a Monster of the Week formula, so every episode gives us a new look into different parts of the body and the diseases they contract. The show even goes out of its way to explain what each germ and cell does. When a new cast member shows up, it'll freeze the frame, put a giant block of text, and narrate what the job of the cell is. It actually seems to be at least somewhat educational. If anything, that alone makes the show worth watching. Just seeing all the different ways they turn our bodily functions into peak anime ridiculousness is fun. But speaking of anime ridiculousness, let's get on to the next and final show I'm watching this season. This is the show that I think will replace Chio's as my favorite show of summer. It's called Grand Blue. Also known as Grand Blue Dreaming, this is a show about diving. It is totally a diving anime. And also an anime about college life, debauchery shenanigans, irresponsible drinking, good-looking anime girls in bikinis, and equally good-looking anime boys in absolutely nothing at all. The latter more so than the former. Like Hinamatsuri, this showed up on my radar because someone I know happened to be really excited for this. In fact, this was the same person who recommended Hinamatsuri to me in the first place. They have not steered me wrong yet because I am loving Grand Blue. Our main character is Iori Kitahara. He is off to college, going to live with his uncle who runs a diving shop. Of course, things immediately go sideways and he's roped into joining the diving club. Diving club activities include, but are not limited to, stripping completely naked, playing rock paper scissors while naked, getting completely shit-faced while naked, and drinking oolong tea that is actually just vodka and whiskey. Oh, and diving, I guess. Our cast of characters also include Kohei, an anime-obsessed pretty boy motherfucker, Tokita and Kotobuki, the pushy senpai who egg everyone on in these ridiculous situations, Chisa, Iori's cousin who constantly finds herself in situations that don't quite shine the most positive light on Iori, Asuza, who has the wrong idea of what kind of person Iori is, and Nanaka, Chisa's sister, who has her own quirk that I'll let you find out on your own, because it has a really good setup and payoff. I like how this show focuses on older characters, college age in this case. I feel like I don't see a lot of that, at least not in the shows I've watched. It seems like anime always tends to focus on younger teens. These folks are in their 20s, though their ages were apparently bumped up from 18 in the manga because, showing things about underage drinking on TV is a no-no, which is fine. I still have a hard time pinpointing what it is exactly about this specific style of comedy and anime that I like so much. Calling it absurd like I have before isn't enough, because I just called Chio's School Road absurd, and that is a very different style of comedy. It's something about how quick Grand Blue is to get to the punchline. You're being hit left and right with some sort of gag. Something about how the comedy still feels somewhat grounded in reality, despite a punchline like slamming a box through someone's head after walking into a room with your face plastered all over anime girl posters. And it's all a fun time. I'm almost certainly going to read the manga at some point after the anime is over. It was being released digitally in English, but recently each volume has been getting a physical release, albeit slowly. It's probably going to be my favorite show of the season. I'm maybe one episode away from confirming that. Go watch it. It's great, and it's perfect for summer. And that's it for what I'm watching this season. I think I'm finally starting to get a grasp on what kind of anime I like. But I'll probably get into that on a separate video where I talk about all the backlog series I'm watching, things that are not currently airing. On that note, if you want to follow all the things I'm watching or all the things I'm reading manga-wise, I made an AniList account because I guess I'm in that deep now. It's very simple. Username is just PD, the letters P and D. I'll put the link in the description below so you can go follow me, see everything I'm watching, and berate me for my anime taste, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching.